Bonjour tout le monde, c'est moi Charlotte et aujourd'hui nous allons regarder et étudier le poème qui s'appelle Le Bonhomme de Neige par Jacques Prévert. On y va. Hello everyone, we'll be looking at a poem which is called the Snowman, Le Bonhomme de Neige, that means snowman, which was written by Jacques Prévert. So, there's 5 verses or stanzas and we're going to look at them now. I've written them out on my whiteboard, so I'll read them out and then I'll read each verse at a time. Then I will go over the language within that, pointing out which verbs we encounter, prepositions, adjectives, that kind of thing, and discussing their use so that we can understand the content of the poem. Okay, we'll also look out for and encounter some rhymes, rhyming words, and what else we encounter? Well, we'll become familiar with quite a well-known little story, if you like, and that is also known as well as a song, une chanson pour les enfants, so a children's song, which is based on the lyrics or the words, the text of the poem. So I'll link in underneath in the video description a video where you can find the song version, okay, but it's based on the poem Le Bonhomme de Neige by Jacques Prévert. So this is for predominantly my French club members. Every month I send out a video link to my YouTube channel, as well as a handout which has content of some kind in French, some exercises, some further study links, and that's sent out every month. So if you're interested in becoming a French club member, just get in contact with me. You can email me or call me. The details are all on my website or underneath in the video description. Please feel free to leave me a comment. I always get back to you as soon as I can. Ok, on y va. So, first one. Dans la nuit de l'hiver, galope un grand homme blanc. Dans la nuit de l'hiver, galope un grand homme blanc. C'est un bonhomme de neige. Avec une pipe en bois. Un grand bonhomme de neige poursuivi par le froid. Let's have a look at numbers 3, 4 and 5. Il arrive au village, voyant de la lumière, le voilà rassuré dans une petite maison. Il entre sans frapper, et pour se réchauffer, s'asseoir sur le poêle rouge, et d'un coup disparaît, ne laissant que sa pipe au milieu d'une flaque d'eau, ne laissant que sa pipe et puis son vieux chapeau. Okay, so it's quite a quick poem. It's kind of sad. I don't know if you understood what was going on there, but let's go through it and find out. So, dans la nuit de l'hiver, in the winter night, dans la nuit, la nuit is a feminine noun. When we say good night, we say bonne nuit. So instead of bonjour, bon, pronounced bon, because it's the masculine version of the adjective bon, which means good. That precedes jour, which is a singular masculine noun. Bon is in the masculine form, it's got this on ending. But bonne nuit has the different sounds of bonjour, bonne nuit, bon, bonne, bon, bonne. And the reason bonne is pronounced bonne in bonne nuit, where you have that N sound, and sometimes you even hear the E at the end, bonne nuit, is because it's spelled B-O-N-N-E. The reason for that is because the word nuit is a feminine noun, okay? So the adjective that precedes it in that case is feminine. Bon becomes bonne because it is la nuit, the night. Dans la nuit, in the night of winter, so in the winter's night, in the winter night. Galope, galope, that's from the verb galoper, it's an ER verb. It can mean to gallop like a horse, or to canter, or to dash, or to charge through. So it's to do with like movement, and can be used like when you're talking about a horse, for example. But if you think of like dashing through the snow, you could kind of compare it to other kind of winter texts. So, in the winter night, dashes un grand homme blanc. So what you have there is a tall white man. Not clear at that point what kind of white man it is, but it becomes clearer. Dans la nuit de l'hiver, in the winter's night, or the winter night, galope un grand homme blanc. C'est un bonhomme de neige. He is a snowman, so it clarifies there. He's not just a tall white man, he's a snowman. He's made of snow. Bonhomme de neige. De neige, of snow. Okay? Neiger is also a verb, to snow. Oh, il a neigé. Oh, look, it's, regarde, il a neigé. Or il neige, it's snowing. So that's an ER verb as well. But here it's de neige, which means of snow. Hence, snowman. Avec une pipe en bois. Une pipe, so that's similar to, well, it's the same as the English word. A pipe, type that you smoke. En bois, wooden, a wooden pipe. Le bois is wood. Un grand bonhomme de neige, so a large or a tall snowman, poursuivi, that's from the verb poursuivre, which is pursued or followed, par le froid, followed by the cold, or pursued by the cold, if you want to make it a bit more kind of poetic, high register. So, in the winter night, dashes a tall white man. In the winter night, dashes a tall white man. It's a snowman with a wooden pipe. A tall snowman followed by, pursued by the cold. So obviously, it's a cold night, it's winter. So in French we've got blanc, blanc, so these two kind of couplets, if you like, are repeated. And then we have neige and neige, bois rhyming with froid. So it's got that O-I, wa sound. I feel this might be quite a quick video. Il arrive au village. Il, so he arrives at the village. Au village, A plus le. So a plus le in French, you don't see it. Instead it becomes au. So le village, if you're going to the village, or you are at the village, like il arrive au village, he arrives at the village. You see a and u, so that's a little kind of contraction. It's where the preposition a joins the article le and it becomes au. Okay, so that's what that means. When you see au, it means a plus le, and it replaces that. So he arrives at the village. Voyant de la lumière, le voilà rassuré. Now there's a couple of ways that I have sort of translated that in my head. So voyant could be the present participle, like the gerund form of the verb voir. So it could mean, if in other contexts, seeing by the light or from the light. But I think it means noticeable or conspicuous, as in he is visible in the light. But it could mean that he sees that he's arrived at the village because he is seeing, voyant de la lumière. So let me know what you think, depending on how you interpret that. Le voilà rassuré. Here he is, reassured. Le voilà means here he is, or here it is. Le means him or it for a masculine thing. If it was la voilà, it would be here she is, or here it, if something feminine is. Voilà means here you go, or here it is, or there it is. Something along those lines. It's to do with being presented and present. Rassurer means to be reassured or assured. Dans une petite maison, in a little house. So he arrives at the village, noticeable in the light, or seeing the village by the light, depending on how you interpret that, not quite sure. There he is, or here he is, reassured. In a little house. So he gets to a little house. Il entre. I'm just going to highlight arrive, that's the verb arriver, to arrive. Entre is the verb entrer. So these are two verbs which in the past tense would be used with être. Il est arrivé, il est entré. Okay, so you use être in the past tense with these two verbs of movement. Il entre sans frapper, sans frapper. So frapper there means to knock, that's a verb. There's another verb there, there's another verb here. Okay, that's an adjective. That I think is a present tense verb, or it could be an adjective depending on whether it's describing him or describing what he's doing, not sure. Et pour se réchauffer. Et pour se réchauffer. So chauffer is to heat something, réchauffer is to reheat something. But when you have se in front of réchauffer, it means to warm yourself up. So se is the reflexive pronoun in the infinitive verb, to warm up oneself. That's a verb there. So he enters. Sans frapper means without knocking, without seeing, sans voir, without looking, sans regarder. Okay, so sans or sans in front of a verb in the infinitive form is without doing something. Il entre sans frapper. So he just goes in without, he enters the house. Il entre à la petite maison sans frapper, without knocking. And pour se réchauffer, in order to, so pour means for, but it can also mean in order to, right? To reach a goal. Pour se réchauffer, in order to heat himself up or warm up. In English we might say warm up without it being reflexive. Okay, we can say warm yourself up, to get warm. Yeah, we might say warm up or get warm, okay, to become warm, without it being reflexive. But in French it's se réchauffer. S'asseoir. So in order to get himself warm, to warm himself up, to warm up, il s'assoit. So we don't have the il subject pronoun repeated here, but you could have it there. Il s'assoit. He sits down. Again, in French, that's a reflexive verb. S'asseoir. S'asseoir. To sit down. Or to sit oneself down. So it's a good way of thinking about it in English as sit oneself down, because in French it's reflexive. So S apostrophe is like se asseoir, but it's contracted because se has an E in it. So you take that out because it's followed by a verb that starts with a vowel. Okay, so it's not se asseoir, it's s'asseoir with an apostrophe instead of the E. That makes it easier to say. To sit oneself down. So il entre sans frapper, et pour se réchauffer, il s'assoit, okay, but they don't put il in, s'assoit sur le poêle rouge. So poêle, when I see that word I think of like a pan, like a pan that you cook on a hob, which is something that you heat up. But it also can mean a wood burner, okay? So something that you put logs into, like make a fire. So he goes into the house without knocking, and in order to warm himself up, he sits on the wood burner. Ce n'est pas une bonne idée, ça. Et d'un coup, disparaît. And all of a sudden, d'un coup, disparaît. All of a sudden he disappears. all of a sudden disappears. That's from the verb disparaître, which is like the opposite of apparaître, to appear, and disparaître, to disappear. Disappear. So that's in the third person singular of the present tense. Il ou elle disparaît. And it's got this little the circumflex over the I in the written form. Ne laissons que sa pipe. So this is the fifth stanza. Ne laissons que. So when you have ne and que wrapping around a verb form, that means only or just. Let's go down a little bit here. So leaving just. Laissons is from the verb laisser, which means to leave, as in to like leave something somewhere. Not to leave a place, but to leave something. Ne laissons que. So ne laissons que sa pipe means leaving just his pipe. Sa pipe, sa means his or her in front of something that's feminine, a feminine noun. So it would be son in front of something that was masculine, but it's sa in front of something feminine in the singular. So sa pipe means his pipe. If this was about a female, it would translate as her pipe. Okay, so the gender or the written form of that, the spoken form of that possessive adjective depends on the gender of the noun that follows it, rather than the gender of the person. So in English we have his or her, and you would say his pipe if the pipe belongs to a boy or a man, and you'd say her pipe if the pipe belongs to a girl or a woman. But in French it doesn't work like that. It depends on the gender of the object. Son stylo, sa pipe, sa voiture, sa mère, son père, etc. Son portable. Ne que. So ne and que wrap around a verb. Je n'ai que 2 euros. I only have 2 euros. Je n'ai que instead of j'ai seulement 2 euros. Okay. Laissons is the present participle, so you take the verb laisser. Let's zoom in a little bit so you can see it. Ici. Take the verb laisser, take the er infinitive ending off and add ant. Laissons. That makes it the present participle, or the gerund form, if you like. Is like the ing version. Leaving only his pipe. And where does he leave his pipe? Au milieu d'une flaque d'eau. Got to pull out from my glasses there. Au milieu de means in the middle of. Au milieu de is a 3-word kind of phrase, which means in the middle of. Une flaque d'eau. Une flaque d'eau is a puddle of water. Une flaque d'eau. Une flaque, a puddle. De eau becomes d'eau. Okay, so you wouldn't have de followed by eau. Instead, you have apostrophe, and it becomes d'eau, 1 syllable. And au milieu de, again, is followed by une, which is a word that starts with a vowel, so it is abbreviated, shortened, contracted down to d'une. Okay, so that's a big apostrophe there. Ne laissons que sa pipe au milieu d'une flaque d'eau. Ne laissons que sa pipe et puis son vieux chapeau. So it then repeats, leaving only his pipe and then his old hat. Son vieux chapeau. So we have sa pipe and son chapeau. Let's go down a little bit. Oh, pardon. Can I get down there? Oh, a little bit more. Voila. Okay. So we have son here, and that's in front of vieux chapeau. So vieux means old. I appreciate you might not be able to see that. I'll see them if I can. Vieux. Jeune is young, vieux is old. That's the masculine version. Chapeau, chapeau is a hat. And that rhymes with O. It's got the E, A, U at the end. However, the word water, eau, flaque d'eau, puddle of water, the word eau is feminine, but chapeau is masculine. Just a bit funny, isn't it? So let's have a little look. Can we go back up there? It's quick, isn't it, this one? Let's see. It's quite a useful one because it's got kind of like, you know, wintry stuff, wintry vocab, like chapeau, like neige, Bonhomme de Neige, hiver, winter. And then it's got some kind of verbs which are quite useful. Arrive, entre, galoper, verbs of movement. And then it's also got some nice little adjectives. Okay, so we'll have a look at them again and go through this and see what you remember from them. Okay, so dans la nuit de l'hiver galope un grand homme blanc. Dans la nuit de l'hiver galope un grand homme blanc. C'est un bonhomme de neige avec une pipe en bois. Un grand bonhomme de neige poursuivi par le froid. Il arrive au village, voyant de la lumière, le voilà rassuré. Dans une petite maison. There he is reassured in a little house. Il entre sans frapper. He goes in without knocking. Et pour se réchauffer, s'assoit sur le poêle rouge. Et d'un coup disparaît, ne laissant que sa pipe au milieu d'une flaque d'eau, ne laissant que sa pipe et puis son vieux chapeau. Quite sweet, isn't it, that? So, let's have a little look. Comment dit-on? How do you say in the middle of? In the middle of. Au milieu de. Au milieu de. In fact, I think I'll write these down on here. Au milieu de. In the middle of. If we talk about a milieu, we tend to talk about like a place. So you might have seen that word, milieu de, in the middle of. Or it could mean among. Au milieu de. Not best pen. Okay, what does ne and que translate as? Ne laissant que sa pipe. Ne and que around a verb, just at the bottom there, the last one. Only or just, leaving just or leaving only his pipe. So ne and que means only. There's a song which I've mentioned before, and there's a lyric in it. Je ne suis qu'une fille. Je ne suis qu'une fille. So instead of je suis une fille, I am a girl, you put ne and que around the suis part. Je ne suis qu'une fille, that means I'm only a girl. I'm just a girl, you know. So ne and que means just or only, and they wrap around the verb. En bois, what does that mean? En bois, wooden or made of wood. Comment dit-on to knock? Frapper. Without knocking, you put the word sans in front of it. Sans is S-A-N-S. Sans frapper. Sans frapper. Without knocking. Et voila, there it is. And then, how would you say the night? The night. The reason I'm asking you that is because I want you to remember that it's feminine. Say la nuit. La nuit. And if you remember that it's la nuit, you'll always remember to wish someone bonne nuit. Instead of bon nuit, well, bonne nuit, bonne nuit. You pronounce that N. There's two N's and an E in bonne nuit. La nuit. Okay? Excellent. So that's the poem Le Bonhomme de Neige de Jacques Prévert. And if you'd like to join my club to get this handout, feel free to send me an email, morelanguagesolutions@gmail.com. That's MOORE, languagesolutions@gmail.com. So I send out a handout and a video link every last Thursday of the month. Normally I'm a little bit late for December 2022, but I'll be sending this out now today. And there's also a link to the song version, which is based on the lyrics of this lovely poem. So I'll include that link in my email to club members, or you can find it in the description, or you can just look for Bonhomme de Neige chanson pour les enfants, something similar to that on YouTube, and you can listen to that and read the lyrics at the same time and understand what it means. So merci beaucoup et bonne année, Happy New Year, au revoir.